4 people are sitting around the table.
See, in this world, there's 2 kinds of people, my friend.
Suddenly, a bomb goes off.
Those with loaded guns.
Now take the same scene and tell the audience there is a bomb under that table.
No, you dig.
So the whole emotion of the audience is totally different.
You dig.
I picked what I would argue is probably going to be Christian's favorite movie, at least in this series so far, and I picked The Lighthouse.
So the movie I picked before was Austin Powers, the international Man of Mystery?
Maybe, I don't know.
That sounds wrong. International?
It's the first one.
Yeah, the first Austin Powers. And I thought I was picking a good movie. And you hated it. And
I told you I wasn't going to like it.
And as punishment...
And then you said, don't try and play this off like
I'm the victim.
Like you didn't. No, you're not.
I am.
You're getting just punishment. I told you I didn't want to watch this movie. I told you I'm not interested. And you're like, oh, well, in that case, we're definitely going to watch it.
I knew it was a movie you didn't want to watch, but I knew it was a good movie. That's why I made you watch it.
It's not good.
And you returned the favor by choosing an actually awful fucking movie. Evan, The Lighthouse? What the fuck is The Lighthouse?
Did you watch it?
I did watch it. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, this wasn't the first time I watched this movie. I tried to watch this movie maybe like 3 years ago. And I think within like the first 7 minutes, I turned it off. I don't usually do that with movies. I usually watch all of it. Even the boring ones, I sit through them. But this movie, the first time I watched it, I turned around and left. I mean, I didn't watch it in a theater, but it was not good. So this was my second time watching it. And I am more confused than ever.
Okay.
Austin Powers is way better than The Lighthouse, I'm just saying.
I disagree. I'm not going to rate The Lighthouse high.
Was this also this wasn't your first time watching it, right?
No, it's my second time. I'm not going to rate it high. I will rate it 1 point higher than whatever I rated.
So what's your rating?
Powers. I forget what I rated Austin Powers.
Do you just want to rate it just one above Austin Powers, or
yeah?
Okay, what's your like heart gut rating?
Actually, I put it above Raging Bull as well.
Raging Bull was a little low in my book.
I put it up just above Raging Bull.
Above Raging Bull and above
barely
Austin
above
Powers.
Raging Bull.
Okay,
Yeah.
how about your since you fucking love to compare every movie to it, how about Gilbert Grape?
Well, Gilbert Grape's at the very bottom of my list. I'd rather watch Austin Powers 10 times than watch Gilbert Grape once.
Dude, my rating for The Lighthouse is like a 4.
Okay.
Like it's not bad, but it's just really confusing. Like some aspects are simple so the story, it takes place at a lighthouse, and there's like a guy, like a caretaker guy, and like a younger guy who like does like other smaller jobs, and that's really the whole movie. And it's a simple idea. There's the young dude, he gets like cycled out. Like there's always like the job like lasts a certain amount of time. I think it's like 2 weeks or something. And then once your time is done, the next guy comes in. it's a really simple idea. But there's so many little details in this movie that are just so fucking confusing and weird. I do like the way it was filmed, though. Like, in that aspect ratio, black and white is very, very aesthetic, very pleasing to look at.
It's an interesting film.
Is this based on a book? I feel like it's based on a book.
I don't think so. Well, here. I just went on to Reddit to see what other people think of this movie. Try and get like an explanation for it. Not a rating, but an explanation.
What's the synopsis? Like, what's the main description of this movie?
There's only theories, you know.
Like, if you go to IMDb, or like if you have a DVD of this, like on the back.
Okay.
What does it say?
Let me go to IMDb. Okay, two lighthouse keepers try to maintain their sanity while living on a remote and mysterious New England island in the 1890s.
Okay, yeah, that sums it up. That's exactly what the movie is, yeah. Okay, now what does Reddit say?
Well, obviously the movie's confusing, right? So it was just like, the post I found is called "The Lighthouse: A Simple Explanation with Spoilers," and this is just a theory. Most of the people below have slightly different theories, or they contradict them. But I think it's an interesting one. So, do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. He starts off saying, "Everywhere I see the most complex theories about what the lighthouse is all about. In my opinion, the key to understand this movie is the same as in movies like Mulholland Drive or Stay, to name some. Everything we see except the very final scene is a feverish delusion, a comatose or agonizing representation of reality by a dying mind. You see Ephraim, or Thomas Howard, played by Robert Pattinson, never made it to the lighthouse. After a horrific and tragic shipwreck, his badly injured body washed ashore only to be eaten by seagulls. Everything we see up to that final scene is Thomas's delirious dying mind, and it can be separated into three main categories. 1, things he actually experienced in the past. 2, things he dreamed of or fantasized about in the past. And 3, things that were happening to him in his final moments."
That kind of makes sense.
He dissects the categories. So, things he actually experienced in the past. Thomas worked for a long time in Canada in the timber industry. He had a lot of discipline problems, mostly related to his alcoholism, his sexual deviations, his problems with authority figures, and his overall psychological instability. The captain's log he found floating in the water is actually a manager's log he found back in his timber years, and describes exactly the kind of issues he presented back in those years. He found a mermaid figurine, probably carved from a piece of wood, by a partner on a timber station. He saw one of his working partners, Ephraim Winslow, drown under the floating wood logs and did nothing to save him. Instead, he took advantage of the situation and took the deceased partner's identity to give himself a fresh, clean start. 1 second.
I can kind of understand this.
But as we see later, this really messed his consciousness, and the guilt only got worse and worse. He reads lots of sea-related stories. He heard about the life in the lighthouses and thought it'd be his best bet. He managed to embark into a ship destined to a lighthouse, but the ship was struck by a nasty storm and sunk. The second breakdown is things he dreamed of or fantasized about in the past. He read a lot of sea-related stories like Moby Dick and created himself a stylized idea of life at sea and Ahab like sea wolves. Also, the mermaid figurine ignited his sexual fantasies. Thomas Wake is a representation of his subconsciousness, the voice deep within telling him what he already knows but never accepted. He's also has guilt from letting the man die. The name Thomas Wake is only revealed near the end. His mind is telling himself to wake up. Molded after Captain Ahab for Moby Dick and such characters, he represents every authority figure with which Ephraim had issues in the past. All the curses and stories, all the curses, the stories, and knowledge Wake throws at him are quotes from these readings that made an impression on Ephraim's mind. And then the third category, things that are happening to him. The lighthouse is nothing more than the sunlight blasting him from above, probably intermittent from occasional clouds. He doesn't understand this, but can feel it as a constant force over him, and that's why he tries to figure it out so desperately. And then the sunlight wakes him up. The unbearable shine throws him down the stairs into a final glimpse of consciousness. He's somehow partially aware of the seagulls over him and his inability to push them apart. So he dreams about the stubborn seagull who just stands there picking his clothes and screaming at him. He hates them so much because he deeply understands what they're doing to him. Near the end, as he's slowly waking up, everything is falling apart around him, and there's water everywhere because he is now more aware of his actual situation, which is his body is completely broken, lying in the rocks as the tides rise over him. The smell he criticizes on Wake, the smell of piss and shit, is actually the smell coming out of his own guts. And then there's this thing where he's like, this is a far stretch, but he acknowledges it. He says the reason everything's in black and white is because the seagulls are picking at his eyes.
Yeah, that is a bit of a stretch.
So, and then they argue about it further down in the comments, but I just thought it was an interesting take.
I can see all those points.
Yeah.
Like that kind of makes sense. All those things.
A little.
So I took 48 notes. And
I took a few.
My notes are a little confusing because I was confused. I was trying to understand what was happening, but there are things that are like a little symbolic, and then certain things that are just completely outrageously symbolic that I had no idea what it was trying to symbolize. But
like naked William Dafoe with the shining eyes.
Yeah, that. And
I have no clue what that's supposed to symbolize.
The thing towards the end, this is going to be a spoiler for whoever hasn't seen the movie, but he like turns into like a naked mermaid tentacle Willem Dafoe monster. Yeah.
Did we watch the same movie?
Yes, this was definitely The Lighthouse. This was towards the end when they're fist fighting. And Winslow, I don't know what the fuck his name is. Throughout my entire notes, I call him Winslow. Winslow's fist fighting him. He's on top of Willem Dafoe, and Willem Dafoe turns into the mermaid, and then back into Willem Dafoe. But then he's like a tentacle monster, and like still Willem Dafoe, but mermaid and monster, and the tentacles like wrap around him. I had no idea what to make of that. That completely confused me and disgusted me at the same time. But so the movie starts. There's a dude who gets dropped off at a lighthouse, and there's like a rotation happening. So as this dude is entering the lighthouse, these other people are leaving the lighthouse, and these two guys have to share a living space. And Winslow, the younger guy, he finds a little like mermaid like figurine stuffed in the bed, and he keeps it. And this comes up later. And
a couple of times.
Yeah. And And they have to spend 4 weeks together. I wrote that down, so they probably said it. But they have to spend 4 weeks together. And my next note is that it's there's a power struggle because the younger guy doesn't want to drink, and the older, like, officer dude, whatever. I don't even know what his position is. He's lighthouse keeper. Willem Dafoe is telling him that
there's like the main lighthouse keeper, and then there's like the junior lighthouse keeper, and William Dafoe's the older lighthouse keeper. I call him Thomas. Thomas, and then I call the other dude Winslow.
Yeah, I call him Winslow, and the other guy I just call him like old
but
guy.
Technically,
superior officer.
Winslow is. You find out later his name is also Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
So
the first time they're having dinner, what the fuck is his name's Thomas? I don't know. I'm gonna call him fucking Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe's drinking, and
yeah, he wants Winslow to also drink.
Yeah, and Winslow's like, it's in the handbook, like we're not supposed to drink.
Mm-hmm.
And Willem Dafoe's like, well, it's also in your handbook to listen to me. So he gets him to drink.
No, I don't think they drink the first time.
No, they didn't?
No. He refuses the toast, and he pours out his drink and replaces it with water.
Did he taste the water and it was like disgusting?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that till now. Because I saw him like drink something and he was like, ugh, gross. I didn't realize that was water. Is that why they just drink alcohol? Because it's cleaner than the water?
Well,
because they get drunk
near the end, they're drinking water because the seagulls died in that little pit, and that's where they're getting all their water from. So they couldn't drink the water anymore.
Oh,
and they had to drink the alcohol.
Dude, that would suck. Having to drink alcohol instead of water to survive? Fuck.
And then they ran out of alcohol, and then they started drinking the lantern fuel.
I didn't realize what they were drinking, but yeah, the lantern fuel. So
I wrote, Thomas is in charge. He only cares about the lighthouse, and he makes Winslow fix all the other stuff around the lighthouse facility. And I wrote, Thomas is addicted to the light. He stares right into it.
Yeah, he's like a crackhead.
He loves
with this
the light. Yeah, he's like, it's his light.
So Winslow has to tend to the foghorn, which is super fucking loud. Like, the rest of the movie was relatively quiet, and I was watching this movie on my TV with my fucking surround sound speaker, so I had the volume up. When that foghorn scene happened, dude, it shook everything. It was just like, oh fuck, Jesus Christ! It was really loud. Then there's a scene where Winslow is dreaming, and I think he was dreaming, but he like was walking into like the beach or like the waves,
The water, yeah.
and he sees like a body floating. He goes up to it, then he goes underwater, and a mermaid like screams at him. A siren screams at him. Then he wakes up.
Later in the movie, when he's talking about like his friend that died, right? His friend that got drowned.
That was his body.
That dream sequence was the body, and then with all the logs in the water.
And also later, I think during the final fight scene,
yeah, his
Willem
face
Dafoe turns into a friend, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know. This movie's kind of confusing.
So yeah, the next thing I wrote is he fixes the cistern, which is where they're getting all the water by dumping some sort of like chalk or I don't know. They dump something into it. Then he then starts fixing the roof of the house.
And dude, as he's fixing the roof of the house, there's like a crack in the roof because he's like fixing like the shingles. And
I didn't take that note, but okay.
He
Yeah.
looks through the roof and he's watching Willem Dafoe sleep, and he's just like thrusting, and that's it. He was just thrusting, and then the movie continues. It's I just didn't expect to see that. There's two dudes. They're deserted on this little lighthouse island. Yeah, they're gonna get a little horny, you know. That happens. But yeah, it's fucking Willem Dafoe just.
Oh.
And the fucking next thing I wrote is that Winslow tries to go see the top of the lighthouse, and Willem Dafoe stops him, and he seems extremely protective of the light, and doesn't let him go through. And this happens a few times throughout the movie. Winslow keeps trying to go see the light, and Willem Dafoe is like progressively gets like worse and worse and more hard and harder, and tells him not to go see the light.
What else did I do? He's pushing Cole to the foghorn house, and this is when the seagulls start antagonizing him. He has to carry a lantern oil all the way up the lighthouse.
Dude, that shit was so funny. Because
yeah,
at the bottom, like the bottom steps of the lighthouse, there's these massive drums of oil. So he fucking takes this whole drum all the way to the top. And when he gets to the top, Willem Dafoe's like, oh, you could have just filled up this little can.
Yeah, he did not take it all the way down.
That was funny and kind of fucked up.
Then they talk about his backstory, and they talk about what happened to the last keeper, and then they talk about the seabirds, and that's when William Dafoe hits Winslow.
Yeah,
because Winslow's talking shit about the birds.
I wanted to bring up something. I think Willem Dafoe was talking about the last guy, and the last junior lighthouse keeper, and he was saying that he went mad, and he was dreaming of sirens and shit. And then I realized Winslow is also starting to dream of sirens, and that was just something I wrote down. So it happened to the previous person, if that's even true, and now it's happening to him too. And I thought that had something to do with the little, that little wooden mermaid thing, because it was in the bed when Winslow found it. So maybe there was a previous dude, and he shoved it in the bed. So maybe that, I don't know. With this whole fucking movie, it's like I don't know.
I also don't know. I think the next day they get into an argument about how clean the house is. He falls off this pulley system while they're painting.
Yeah.
Then we learn that his name is Winslow. And then they talk briefly about his past. What is happening? He says, this is when Winslow is trying to sleep, but Thomas is up on the tower or the lighthouse, and he's singing. So Winslow goes over to the lighthouse to go and see, but then there's this weird tentacle thing.
Yeah,
that's happening. I also don't know what's happening there. More symbolism of some sort. But the next day when he wakes up, the birds ruin the cistern. Thomas ends up killing a bird very brutally. Might add.
I thought it was hilarious.
Beats the fuck out of the bird. he grabs it and he beats it for like 45 seconds straight.
He's just whacking the shit out of this bird on like this rock thing. And there's fucking blood splattering everywhere. It's very brutal kill for the bird.
And then, well, do you know, he messed with the seabird, and that's when the storm started.
Yeah, and Willem Dafoe, like before. So when Winslow fell off the rope pulley system when he was painting the lighthouse, a little seagull was like pecking at him, and he like tried to like shoo him away and like hurt him and just get him off. And that's when Willem Dafoe was telling him, I think like the next day, or I don't know, the next conversation was Willem Dafoe telling him like, you can never hurt a seagull because it's like souls of like sailors and shit or something like that. And then fucking Winslow just straight up murders a seagull. Then the weather gets completely just 180, just worse. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And I think
this
that
is
was
the last night before they're supposed to leave.
Yeah.
So that night they both get drunk, and the next day they wake up and they're supposed to leave that day. And then the funniest scene of the whole movie happens. He's taking out the shit bucket, and then he throws the shit. Like, he tries to throw the shit bucket out into the sea, but the wind is so strong that the shit just flies back and hits him in the face, and he freaks out. I
did not realize that that's what happened. I didn't
you
even
just thought something got on his face and he freaked out.
I didn't see anything go back in his face. I saw him like throw it off the cliff, then he screamed a little, and then it just cut.
Yeah, he was screaming because the shit flew back and hit him in the face.
I didn't realize that at all. I didn't see anything go back and hit him in the face.
Okay, this is why you're so confused. It's because you weren't paying.
It's all about the shit.
It's like you didn't even have eyes.
I seriously
with your eyes closed.
No, I seriously didn't see. Like I saw him throw it off the cliff, and that's it. And then he just screamed and it cut. But I didn't. Oh well, I can see why he screamed now.
Yeah. Then he finds some beach mermaid. and then it freaks him out.
This man is very horny because he's like groping the mermaid and like.
But
is that when he fucks the mermaid? He does fuck it, right?
No.
No?
I think that's like a dream scene or something.
Oh. Because when he fucks it, they show like mermaid fish pussy, and I did not appreciate that. I did not like that.
It's on Christian's list of things he does not like.
Yeah, mermaid fish pussy, not one of them. No.
Then at this point, I was like trying to figure out what was going on. The boat that's supposed to pick him up never shows up because of the storm.
Yeah, the weather's too bad.
Rationing food. And then I was trying to figure out, okay, I think one of them's going crazy and like gaslighting the other one, but I don't know who's going crazy. So at first I thought Winslow might be losing his mind, but then I was like, no, maybe Thomas is losing his mind. And then my third note is, no, they're actually just both losing their mind. So
yeah,
as you can see, the confusion really goes deep into this movie.
So they start rationing and they start drinking more, and it's been some time. I don't even know how much time has gone by, but like Winslow never got picked up because the weather just is too bad. So Winslow tries to take one of the little rafts and leave the lighthouse on his own, and he gets chased by Willem Dafoe with an axe. Willem Dafoe like smacks a hole in the boat, so you can't really use the boat anymore. and Winslow gets chased back into the house, and then they calm down a little bit. This is when Willem Dafoe was saying, like, I didn't try to attack you, right?
Yeah. That's the note I wrote for that. I said Winslow might be losing his mind. Oh no, wait. No, I don't know. But yes, yeah, that's when he said, yeah, I wasn't actually chasing you. The next note I had is Winslow makes fun of Thomas's cooking, and Thomas freaks out and then like does like some ancient curse. He puts like an ancient curse on Winslow.
So he was praying to Neptune that Winslow dies, I think. I don't know if he was praying that he died, but he was definitely praying to Neptune. I think he's the god of the sea. So, and they got drunk again, and that kind of remedied the situation at the moment. They got drunk together, and
you want me to read it for you?
The actual prayer?
Yeah.
Can you perform it like he did? Please do it. I mean, you don't need to scream, but come on, put some theatricalness into it.
I can't.
Do
My
it.
tongue hurts too much. I can.
Okay.
I'll send it to you.
No, then just read it with a little, like, some slight flair.
Okay. He says, "You're fond of me, lobster, aren't you?" I see it. You're fond of me, lobster. Say it. Say it. Say it. I don't have to say nothing. Damn ye, let Neptune strike ye dead, Winslow. Hark.
Hark?
Hark. That's literally what it says. I'm supposed to be some sort of scream or whatever. Hark, Triton. Hark, Triton, hark. Billow, bid our father the sea king rise from our depths full foul in his fury. Black waves teeming with salt foam to smother this young mouth with pungent slime to choke ye, engorging your organs till ye turn blue.
Yeah, he was praying that he
loaded
died.
with bilge and brine and can scream no more. Only when he, crowned in cockle shells with slithering tentacle tail and streaming beard, take up his fell finned arm, his coral tine trident screeches banshee-like in the tempest and plunges right through your gullet, bursting ye, a bulging bladder no more, but a blasted bloody film, now and nothing for the harpies and the soul of dead sailors to peck and claw and feed upon, only to be lapped up and swallowed by the infinite waters of the dread emperor himself. Forgotten to any man, to any time, forgotten to any god or devil, forgotten even to the sea. For any stuff, for part of Winslow, even aiding scantling of your soul is Winslow no more, but is now itself the sea. And then Winslow responds with, "All right, have it your way. I like your cooking." So yeah, that was like one take. William Dafoe memorized that shit and fucking.
That's impressive.
It was very impressive.
Do you think you could memorize a monologue like that? Because that's not
No.
even like current English.
I couldn't memorize something that crazy.
You're fond of me, lobster.
Okay. The next, getting back into it, the next scene that happens, Winslow tries to take the logbook, and he tries to take it while Thomas is sleeping. But Thomas wakes up and then calls him gay for sneaking up on him while he's sleeping.
Isn't that also when he takes a knife?
No. I don't think so.
Did that happen earlier?
This was like up in the bedroom.
Isn't that when he was trying to take the keys to the lighthouse?
No.
No?
Oh, wait. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Then there's another scene with Winslow where he's holding his mermaid statue, and he loves his mermaid statue. And that's where you had the scene that you didn't like.
Because he's jerking off to this little statue, right?
Yeah, but then it shows like flashes of like what he's imagining.
Yeah, he's picturing that he's fucking this mermaid, and that's when they show you a fish pussy. Yeah, not a fan of that.
Then they keep getting super drunk, and this is when Winslow finally admits to letting a coworker die at his last job. He feels guilty about it, and he takes the dead dude's identity.
This is where I don't know what's the truth and what isn't. Because am I supposed to believe him or not?
This is when Thomas does the weird thing where he's like, he doesn't have a shirt on, but he like looks into Winslow's soul, and, like, grabs him.
Yeah, like what does that mean?
I don't know. But then Winslow freaks out, and that's when Winslow tries to leave on the boat, and then he gets chased back by Thomas with the axe. So Winslow went up to the lighthouse because he thought that Thomas was like passed out on the floor, right? Or what was that at the lighthouse? Because that's when Winslow grabbed the body looked at him, it was himself, and then Winslow turned around, and that's when Willem Dafoe was like looking into him with light coming out of his eyes. Mm-hmm. Yes, you're correct.
I mean, it was a cool shot, but like, what does it mean?
I don't know, Christian. I can't answer that.
It did look cool, though. I liked it. It looked like art.
This is when I think we learned that William Dafoe killed the last dude that was there, but I'm not sure. And then we think that the charm, I wrote down that the charm makes them go crazy, kind of like what you were thinking. Then the island floods. And then he goes and reads the logbook. He reads William Dafoe's logbook, and after reading it, he punches the clock, and he calls Thomas a liar. He then begs Thomas to let him go into the lighthouse. This is when they have the big fight. Thomas almost beats William Dafoe to death, and he makes William Dafoe his new dog.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then he buries William Dafoe alive.
Yeah, he does. He fucking buries him alive.
And then, like, the last scene of the movie is him walking up to the lighthouse. William Dafoe gets back out of the grave, and he has to finish he finishes William Dafoe off with the axe from earlier. But he finally gets up to the lighthouse, and then he like looks into the light, and that's when he gets shot down the stairs.
Dude, he's entranced by this light.
Yeah, it cuts to the scene of the seagulls eating him and he's on the beach. So,
and he's naked too.
Yeah.
And the movie's over.
Mm-hmm. And then the movie's over.
I don't know what to make of this movie. I don't know if I like it. I think I don't like it.
This
was
another
like
thing right here.
It was slightly amusing, but also confusing. But it looked cool. The acting was good. It was like weird, but like entertaining to watch because it was weird. And I don't know if I like it or not. I don't understand it. I don't know.
I don't think it's really meant to be understood. I think it's just some good acting and like good cinematography, interesting enough story to like kind of keep you there.
I would have hated watching this in a theater.
I'm just reading comments.
What are some of the comments?
Well, this is the light. It's from a post called "The Lighthouse." What the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, what the fuck
Watched
did I
this
just
last
watch?
night after stumbling on it. Never heard of it before. I thought it was incredible. The acting, cinematography, but holy shit, what was this? And then the top comment is, "Well, are you at least fond of the lobster?" Yeah.
Yeah, I stick with my rating of a 4. This is a 4.
Okay, we have to settle this really quick. 1 second. Let me pull up. I have to see what I wrote when I rated the last one. Give me 1 second.
You don't remember what you rated it? Are you just watching?
Yeah, I'm.
We usually rate it at the start.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I don't know. Literally can't find it. You need to put like some fucking big thing on the screen whenever we rate stuff. That way I can find this shit. I want a giant ass pop up, like a giant 5. You know, if I rate something a 5, I want the whole screen to be a 5, so I can find this.
In the earlier episodes, I used to put our ratings in the description, but then it just became too tedious, so I don't do that anymore.
Let's see if it's at the end. Let me watch it at fucking 2 times speed.
Let me see if I can find it too. I found it.
What did I rate it?
You're about to say it.
This is difficult. Gonna happen. So yeah, it couldn't have been that bad. A 2, give it an 8.5.
Okay, I gave it a 2.
I give it a 2. Oh my
Okay.
fucking god.
That makes sense. Because
2?
Gilbert Grape's definitely a 1. So
you gave Austin Powers a 2.
yeah, I'll give this a 3.
A 3?
Maybe a 4 because I think I give Raging Bull a 4, and I think I would put these on very similar levels.
You know, I gave this movie a 4.
Yeah, I think we both agree.
So would you give it a 4?
Yeah, I'll give it a 4.
So this is equal to Raging Bull.
Yeah,
I thought Raging Bull was more entertaining. At least there's like current drama. This is just like, what is happening, you know?
I thought these were equally as entertaining. I kind of like weird movies, though. I don't know. I don't like them, but I probably like them a little bit more than the average person. So,
trying to go through all the movies we did. Barbarian, I liked a lot. That was episode 4. Die Hard was good too. Ready Player One was good.
Ready Player One was okay. Okay, what movie are we watching, or are we going to be rolling this outro? My final rating for this movie is a 4.
4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there too. I'm giving this movie a 4.
Yeah.
Well, you did purchase the complete set of Austin Powers, right?
Well, yeah. I just assumed you were gonna force me to watch them all.
Well, I don't want to let your money go to waste. So my pick is Austin Powers 2.
That's crazy. I did not see that coming.
Fuck you. And I hope...
I promise you that I have seen worse movies than The Lighthouse, and
why,
you will
Evan? Why do you have to make it a punishment? I'm picking Austin Powers 2, so you're gonna pick something worse?
Unless Austin Powers 2 is just amazing. If it's amazing,
you're not gonna like it. If you didn't like the first one, you're not gonna like the second one. It's literally the same style, the same humor, the same dryness, the same. You're not gonna like it.
I'll find something. Maybe I'll find something I haven't seen before, but like other people don't like it. That way, it's like a fair chance. It's like, hey, maybe we actually will like it.
All right, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time when we review Austin Powers 2.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Say hello to my little friend.
To infinity and beyond.